The UK Time Out on Radio Biafra, bringing news beats from across the United Kingdom, incisive analysis by the People's Parliament. Our panel dissects the topic of the week, and listeners interact.
Also featuring great Biafran history, education, awareness, and enlightenment, plus entertainment galore.
Tune in to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra, Sundays from 7:30 p.m. Biafran time and British Summer Time. Set out for a fabulous week ahead with the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. News, views, previews, and reviews. Join us.
Everywhere. You're surrounded by people. The only way to survive is to face them head on. From the Eastern Security Unit, ESN.
We got to rewrite the wrong and do what is right to live like humans.
ESN fundraising in United Kingdom. IPOB UK invites all to her ESN fundraising event, supporting the Biafran Land Eastern Security Network for the benefit of the Biafran nation. Support ESN to secure our land and our lives. Support ESN to protect our economy. Support ESN to restore and maintain peace within the Biafra region. Date on Saturday, December 7th, 2024. Time 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. London time. Venue hybrid mode. In person, visit St. Lawrence Church Hall, 37 Bromley Road, London, SE 67TS, and virtually via Zoom. Login ID 8233-4896509. Passcode 593470. We appeal to all Biafrans and lovers of freedom to donate generously. Kindly visit www.ipob.org/donate. For further inquiries, contact Chief Ikechukwu Nice Wokoro, IPOB UK National Coordinator, on +44781 7796 032. Chief Nice and UKNC@gmail.com, or Mazi Sam Iheme, IPOB UK Head Fundraising Team, on +447-448-18332. IPOB and Biafra's blog@gmail.com. Special guest of honor, Mazi Chika Edoziem, the Head of Directorate of State, Lolo Uchechi Okukano, the wife of Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Austin Abanye, the European Rep.
Good evening from here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. I'm your host, Ikechukwu Nice Mokoro Ichie Mwachinemere. I hail from Onitshamiri Ezinihite, Owerri Province, Biafra. And I serve my wonderful Biafrans, IPOB family, as the United Kingdom National Coordinator. As usual on this program, we start with a word of prayer on this special day in the language of heaven. Anyị na-enye Chukwu Okike abịa ma ekele pụrụ iche taa Orie, ụbọchị ụka, ụbọchị mbụ n'ọnwa ọhụrụ, ọnwa Oyoko, ọnwa ekeresimesi, ọnwa Disemba. Ekekere ụwa nye anyị, gbaghara anyị ihe ọjọọ ọbụla anyị na-eme na mmehie anyị dị iche iche adịghị ike anyị niile, ma meere anyị ebere, nye ụmụ gị ihe ọma kpọkwa anyị n'ụzọ anyị niile, kachasị n'ime ọnwa ọhụrụ a, ọnwa mmechi afọ. Kpuchigide anyị, zere anyị ndụ, meere anyị amara gị, ka ọnwa anyị wee zuo oke, nyekwa anyị ngọzi gị. na n'ikpeazụ ya otuto niile abụrụ nke gị, mmeri abụrụ nke anyị. Ayọm gị, eze bi n'elu ọgọdọ ya na-akpụ n'ala, site n'aha ọpara gị Yeshua HaMashiach. Ise, 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 ise. Onyenwe anyị, ana m ekele gị, ọnụ m juru n'ekele, ebe i mere ndụ fọrọ m, ọnụ m juru n'ekele. Chukwu okike, ana m ekele gị, ọnụ m juru n'ekele, ebe i mere ndụ fọrọ m, ọnụ m juru n'ekele. Papa nke igwe, anyị na-ekele gị, ọnụ anyị juru n'ekele, ebe i mere ndụ fọrọ anyị, ọnụ anyị juru n'ekele. O juru n'ekele, o juru n'otito. Up next, news beats.
Good evening, Biafrans and lovers of freedom. You're welcome to UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. My name is Mazi CJ, and I'm here with my colleague Wada Cindy to give you this week's news bits. All is set for IPOB UK end of year ESN fundraising holding in London and via Zoom on Saturday 7 December 2024. Publicity for the event has now reached fever pitch with event promo jingle and flyers in circulation. All Biafrans, Biafrans and true lovers of freedom are mostly cordially invited. The IPOB UK National Coordinator Chief Ike has reminded all IPOB members in UK and worldwide of the significance of our year-ending ESN fundraising, urging all to make their kind donations and sincere contribution as a mark of demonstrating our sincerity of purpose. Addressing a joint team meeting of IPOB UK National Fundraising, Marketing, Community Engagement, Mobilization, and Media IT Innovation team Friday night, Chief Nokoro instructed IPOB UK Regional and Zonal Coordinators to ensure that all hands on deck to make this event a rich success. He explained the modalities of this 7th December ESN fundraising, pointing out that as we are funding our last line of defense, the ESN, this Yuletide in particular, we guarantee our families in Biafra lands will have a peaceful, restful Christmas and New Year season. The UKNC informed the coordinators and teams head that we will have the head of DOS, Mazi Chika Edoziem, Onyendu wife, Nnamdi Kanu, who will be live in London, and IPOB European Rep, Mazi Osnabanim, as a special guest of honor, as well as other important dignitaries who might most likely join me virtually. He reiterated that those that are not able to make it to London are expected to attend online as a group rather than individual. The head of IPOB UK fundraising and marketing team, Mazi Sani Hieme, added that the invitation letters for non-IPOB families members are now in distribution. Members should utilize the PDF generic copy and send it to their contacts with appropriate covering notes. All other information have been castigated on IPOB UK official platforms.
Good evening. Wife of Biafran's head of state, Dame Chukwuemeka Odumegwu-Ojukwu, who presently serves as Zoo's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Chief Mrs. Bianca Odumegwu-Ojukwu, reportedly said that she will do whatever it takes to ensure President Tinubu releases Mazi Nnamdi Kanu soon. Bianca Ojukwu made this vow while speaking at the 13th memorial anniversary of her late husband and our eternal leader, General Ojukwu, held in Owerri last Tuesday. The theme, Unifying the Igbo Race. Ambassador Bianca Odumegwu-Ojukwu emphasized that freeing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would help to expose the criminal element who are using his detention as cover for heinous crimes in the Southeast, stressing that the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is paramount to separating genuine freedom fighters from criminal elements causing mayhem in the Southeast, adding that our people face existential threats and we must act to restore peace. It's heartening that more of Igbo are beginning to speak up about Onyendu's release and the urgent need to end the man-made insecurity and impunity of regional land. Senator Enyinia Baribe, one of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's bill shorties, who has been quiet for some time, spoke eloquently on Chinese TV, challenging impostors wrongfully using the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB to perpetrate criminality to desist from such illegality. Chief Abaribe maintained that Oyendus remain as the helm of IPOB, and anyone claiming to replace him or fill the vacuum collapse is not being honest to Biafrans. Maintaining that such a person or group are fraudulent as they do not genuinely represent Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or IPOB and therefore must not be linked with the IPOB general movement. Meanwhile, a group known as the Eastern Nigerian Development has said that the North may have entered into a secret agreement with Tinubu to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention perpetually.
Justice Inyang Eko of the Abuja Federal High Court failed to show on Monday in a plot to stall the hearing of 50 billion naira suit filed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu against the zoo for his unlawful detention. These latest tactics have been seen by keen observers as another evidence of the zoo frustrating demonstration of judicial terrorism, while other political analysts reckon it could be an indication that the federal government is opening to find a political solution to the matter. In the suit, which was filed by Chief Mike Ozokome Sam on 7th April 2022, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is suing Nigeria and Attorney General of the Federation for violating his rights, citing his abduction in Kenya and extraordinary redemption to Nigeria to face trial. His legal team argues that his redemption from Kenya violated international and domestic laws, sparking debates over legalities of his detention and subsequent trial. IPOB leadership have always maintained that any political negotiation where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention cannot hold water. Neither will it satisfy the yearnings and aspirations of Biafrans worldwide. Consequently, IPOB reiterated her call for unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ahead of a peaceful Biafra referendum. Still in Abuja, 50 IPOB members who were arrested and detained on 1st December 2023 on frivolous allegations have now been discharged and acquitted of term of terrorism charge by an FCT Federal High Court. The government prosecutors brought 4 witnesses but were floored by IPOB-led counsel Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. Sir Ejiofor was on Radio Biafra earlier today to provide updates on this and other cases of innocent Biafran held arbitrary detention. He also took on Oyendus case.
In a short saying, Imo State Attorney General was standing in court last Tuesday defending Hope Uzonima's arbitrary arrest and unlawful detention of popular Imo media personnel Chinenso Uba, also known as Nanso Ukwa, over 5 charges of inciting public disorder. Elsewhere, Hope Uzonima has taken his wielding of absolute power to a new height. He is now picking up any perceived opposition and locking up all decanting voices. An SOS video from a distressed wife of Imo politician Dr. Fabian Ihemekwe went viral on social media, in which the woman narrated how Hope Uzonima's thugs and security agents invaded the privacy of her family home and kidnapped her husband. Meanwhile, IPOB families in Biafra land on Friday held a candlelit night service for slain Biafra land National Coordinator Mazi over the weekend.
IPOB is cautioning on Igbo and Igbo politicians to stop disgracing the Igbo nation by running to non-Igbos to settle an Igbo internal matter. In a press release yesterday, IPOB Media and Publicity Secretary Emma Powerful lambasted Sumuhaneze chieftains who are purportedly approaching former President Olusegun Obasanjo to resolve the Ohaneze succession quest. IPOB maintained that the unity of Igbo, including those currently carving to South-South, Southwest and North-Central geopolitical zones of the zoo, is sacrosanct. IPOB criticized those claiming to deny River State, whose turn is to produce next Ohaneze President General come January next year, insisting no one is more Igbo than the other. Our presenter Ruben Abati has been heavily criticized for his recent comment that Igbos do not sell their land to foreigners. Professor Ikechukwu, who hails from Mbieri Owerri province, said his people who gave the Yoruba in-law Chief T.O.S. Benson sizable pieces of land free of charge in the 80s are not happy with Dr. Abati's comments.
Nigeria has been ranked as the third most in-debt country in the world by the International Development Association. This against the background of the ZOO's net debt standing at more than 134 trillion naira and the Tinubu regime seeking to borrow additional $2 billion to shore up her annual budget. Most of the loans Nigerians take end up the line in deep pockets of corrupt officials with little or no infrastructure and development to show for the huge funds borrowed. Meanwhile, it has been confirmed as lies that the Port Harcourt old refinery has resumed full operation, contrary to Zoo government's claim last Tuesday. Latest reports indicate that Nigeria is still mounting pressure on Finland to extradite Simon Ekpa, who remains in Finnish prison awaiting trial over charges of inciting terrorism and criminal acts in Biafra land. Yason Wike has described Ekpa as a jobless scammer, revealing his real name as Ifeanyi Joko. IPOB has continued to distance herself from the agent provocateur who has never been an IPOB member. Neither are his supporters and sponsors connected with IPOB. That's Newsweek this week. Thanks. Please continue to listen to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. Stay tuned.
Everywhere. You're surrounded by evil. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to run. The only way to survive is to face them head on. From the Eastern Security Network, ESN.
We got to rewrite the wrong and do what is right to live like humans.
ESN fundraising in United Kingdom. IPOB UK invites all to her ESN fundraising event, supporting the Biafra Land Eastern Security Network for the benefit of the Biafra nation. Support ESN to secure our land and our lives. Support ESN to protect our economy. Support ESN to restore and maintain peace within the Biafra region. Date on Saturday, December 7th, 2024. Time 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. London time. Venue hybrid mode. In person, visit St. Lawrence Church Hall, 47 Bromley Road, London, SE 67TS, and virtually via Zoom. Login ID 8233-4896509. Passcode 593470. We appeal to all Biafrans and lovers of freedom to donate generously. Kindly visit www.ipob.org/donate. For further inquiries, contact Chief Ikechukwu Nice Wokoro, IPOB UK National Coordinator, on +44781 7796 032. Chief Nice and UKNC@gmail.com, or Mazi Sam Iheme, IPOB UK Head Fundraising Team, on +447 448 183132. IPOB and Biafra's blog@gmail.com. Special guest of honor, Mazi Chika Edoziem, the head of Directorate of State, Lolo Uchechi Okukano, the wife of Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Austin Abani, the European rep.
Onye ndu mebe anya na-achị, kedu
Welcome back to the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra. Illegal incarceration is not just torture. It is a major health hazard. Unlawful detention can impact adversely on one's overall physical and mental well-being. Even if one had a clean bill of health before their forceful imprisonment, their general health could deteriorate within hours, let alone days, weeks, and months. And as the clocks tick faster and months turn into years, it could only get worse. Then imagine abducting someone with underlying health conditions, beating them mercilessly, leaving them for dead, then blindfolding them, all through a horrendous extraordinary rendition expedition, before finally dumping them in a dungeon where further and harsher abuse and ill-treatments are meted out. Add to the mix the psychological trauma of denying the individual's freedom and liberty, or even bail, when extant local and international laws, as well as judgments of course of competent jurisdiction, have already ruled that the person be released unconditionally and compensated for the unjust treatments. This gory picture tells half the tale of what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must have gone through and is still going through in the hands of the criminal rogue regime in Nigeria. One wonders what the true state of Ahmadike's health is right now. In fact, it is a wonder that he seems, at least physically fit, and somewhat mentally sound when he had appeared in court, often roaring in his trademark lion thunderous expressions. But hey, surely his health has taken some hit. My distinguished panelists of medical practitioners and public health experts are here today to give us valuable insight into what might be playing out with Onyendu's health. On the topic, illegal incarceration, health, or medical risk. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra. Kindly take turns to introduce yourselves, beginning with our UK National Deputy.
Thank you, Chief Nice, and good evening, Biafrans, friends of Biafrans, and all our viewers all over the world. I'm greeting you from Aberdeen in Scotland, United Kingdom. My name is Onyeka Ekekwe. I'm a servant of indigenous people of Biafra, serving in the capacity of UK Deputy National Coordinator, and I'm from Nnewi Province of Biafra land. Let me also welcome my co-panelists to tonight's discussion, and I'm looking forward for a very fruitful and exciting time out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ekekwe. Thank you very much. Our next panelist is all the way across oceans and seas. Please kindly unmute and introduce yourself.
No, go ahead and speak. Introduce yourself.
My name is Chukwupiche John. I'm from Imo State. Amakoya, Itobom, in Biafra land. I base in Southeast Asia, Philippines. I'm one of the Biafra media warriors.
Thank you, Dr. Johnny, all the way from the Philippines. We know that network sometimes is not the most friendly, but we heard you loud and clear, and hopefully we can get more of you. Dr. Justice Ukachi Lois is trapped in traffic. Hopefully he's able to join us as soon as he is within area of good service and network. We know what it is on Sundays, given his vocation as a minister of the Word of God. So we hope that he will join us. Dr. Ekekwe, let me start with you. We know what Onyendu has been going through, being mindful of patience, privacy, and confidentiality. But we do know he has some underlying health, cardio health in particular, and other medical conditions. Within what is known to the public, at least the one that we are allowed to discuss, could you kindly explain to our listeners in simple terms what these conditions are?
Thank you once more, Chief Nice. Let me start by saying that the reason we can discuss Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu health condition to a limit in order not to breach his right for privacy and confidentiality in line with known medical ethics and standard is because Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health, his wellness, and his well-being is of public interest. As we all know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of over 50 million indigenous people of Biafra, and of course, he is a national asset to Biafrans. So that is why we have the privilege to be able to discuss to a limited extent his health condition. As you rightly said in your introduction, we would like to limit our discussion to what is already known in the public domain regarding his health, and also what is appropriate to be shared with the public. I will start my discussion by defining what World Health Organization, how they define health. And I quote, "Health is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity." Unquote. With this background of definition, it is not difficult to appreciate that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can never be in the best state of health, and his health will only deteriorate in DSS incarceration, considering the circumstances of his extraordinary rendition since June of 2021, and also considering the condition of his continuing detention in DSS dungeon till date. I can recall that the days leading to his kidnapping in Kenya, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sought medical treatment in a Kenya hospital. This will show us that he has some underlying health concerns before he was kidnapped. We also are aware that he was tortured for 8 full days in Kenya before he was extradited rendition to Nigeria. And during this period, he sustained some bodily injuries, including injuries to his left ear, which caused him constant ringing in his ear. This is a medical condition known as tinnitus. This condition, though is not a life-threatening condition, but it's a condition that was not pre-existing, but was inflicted on him during his kidnap. So it's a new condition, was not pre-existing. This condition, as I said, is not life-threatening, but it can be very distressing. Can you imagine trying to sleep and you have a ringing, persistent ringing sensation in your ears, and that will make you not be able to sleep? We all know what lack of sleep can do to our physical, psychological, and mental health, and even health condition. Lack of sleep is enough to even worsen pre-existing medical condition that we know that Onyendu has. More so, you and I know that DSS facility is not equipped for a long-term detention. And also, we know that medical facilities in Nigeria, across Nigeria, is grossly inadequate. And this is the reason why politicians and elites in Nigeria perpetually go on medical tourism abroad. Even ordinary local government chairmen, most of them go abroad for a common headache. So our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, being a leader of indigenous people of Biafra, definitely deserves the best of healthcare facilities that can be available. And we know that he is already, used to the kind of health facility we have in the UK. United Kingdom have state-of-the-art facility. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has his GP in the United Kingdom, who have been looking after him, who knows all his health condition and be treating him. So the best way to make sure his health does not further deteriorate is for him to be, released by Nigerian government, because he's only a victim of international crime and torture by Nigerian government. The only thing that is left for us to do now is for Nigerian government to indeed release him, for him to seek the much desired healthcare he needs in United Kingdom. In summary, at this point, what I want to say or point out is, before I go further in our discussion, is to say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can never be in a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, especially with his pre-existing health condition, which we know, and also with the ones that were inflicted on him by his captors during his extraordinary rendition by Nigerian government, and also by continuing to detain him in the worst of conditions in the DSS dungeon. So what I'm saying in essence is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu needs medical attention, which is not available where he is, and in saying so, he needs to be released on medical ground. I will stop at this for now.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Thank you for that in-depth introduction. We will take it bit by bit, look at facilities in the zoo generally and in the dungeon, the DSS detention center, and also look at the impact on one's health based on illegal incarceration. I mean, nobody that is being deprived of their liberty will be healthy to start with. But considering the fact that somebody is being unlawfully detained indefinitely, Mazi, Dr. Johnny, let me come to you. Just speaking generally, what are some of the common health challenges you think somebody facing illegal incarceration would experience or be prevalent, like symptoms the person would be getting? As I said, the fact that you are being held unjustly, unlawfully, is enough to at least, as they say in the English palace, do your head in. And once that is messed up, your whole body, physically and otherwise, is messed up. So what are some of the health challenges you can enumerate somebody facing illegal incarceration would experience?
Okay. Yeah. In that, I think the greatest health challenge that you'll be facing is the mental challenge. You know, it's because when someone is detained against his will, against the law, you know, you have already proved innocent by the judges and even the world law and the United States UN law of human rights. Everything, all his rights have been violated. So it's going to affect him mentally. It's going to affect him mentally and some other health issues that is all this happens. So it's really a very big issue on his side. So we are calling on the Nigerian government to take note of all these things, to understand that they are violating his human rights and also violating their own law. So it's going to affect him in many areas of his life, both mentally and physical. So it's a very big issue for him, and we all know and are praying that the God that have been keeping him, we keep him healthy, because we know the situation of the health in Zoo. Now talk about someone that been living overseas and been getting a medical checkup, and now he's in this condition. So it's going to affect him generally. And
okay, thank you.
I believe the Nigeria Health Department and other things should also look into it and call upon the government to understand his health issue and release him so that he can take medical treatment.
Oh yeah, thank you. Talking about mental health challenges, Dr. Gipo, you touched on it. I mean, some of the common ones I can easily remember are things like depression, anxiety, agitation, and all that. The few times we saw Onyendu come out in the court, from your medical background and experience, would you, how would you assess it? Assess him on those occasions? Did he present any of these symptoms associated with these common mental health challenges, given his condition?
Okay. Yeah, I will just kind of add a bit of to what my colleague Johnny has said. You know, continuous illegal incarceration has both a physical, mental, and social impact on anyone's health or the victim's health. If you talk about physical, apart from the worsening underlying condition, in a incarcerated person, you don't have the leeway or the opportunity to exercise, to be more physical as you should be. So you are limited. You don't do enough exercise that has a health condition on your cardiovascular functioning, and even your joint mobilities, or everything could be affected because you're not having enough physical activity. That is one. In terms of mental well-being, yes, you mentioned a bit of it. Somebody can suffer anxiety, depression. Especially when you are thinking of, why am I here? I've not done anything wrong. The only thing I did was to tell the world that the whole world that my people are being maltreated. give me opportunity to have a referendum for people to say, I want to belong here, I don't want to belong here, which is self-determination, which is recognized by international law. When you think of that all the time, why am I here? You know, it doesn't make sense. Why are they holding me? The United Nations has said, release him. The court has said he hasn't done anything wrong. He was a victim of international crime. Why am I still here? So those things will play on in his head mentally. It's a source of mental distress for him. And also, and of course, social life. Everybody has a social life, and everybody is entitled to a family life. Everybody is entitled to a social life, to socialize with your family, with your wife, with your kids, with your family, with your friends. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not been allowed to interact as a family man with his wife, with his children. We all can identify with this. We all have families. We know how we interact with our family, immediate family, extended family, our friends and colleagues. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been deprived of this basic right to socialize for going to 4 years now. That is the most unfair thing to do to an innocent man like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So that's another way to look at it. Both his physical health, mental health, social well-being is completely being messed up by his continuing incarceration, illegal incarceration. That is one. Another thing, I would like to point out is that why it appears as if we're not seeing the symptoms in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because Onyendu is made of steel. I can say he's a very strong person, a very mentally strong person. Why I can say this is because, one, his lovely wife, our Lord Uchechi, went to see him recently, and when he came out, he testified to us that Onyendu is still as strong as he knows him. That is, heartwarming in itself to know that Onyendu is coping, is maintaining his strong mental capacity. Not everybody can still maintain his mental capacity the way he's able to maintain it up till now. That is definitely, it's just because he's a special person. That's why he's able to function at that level, despite his unlawful, prolonged incarceration. And when you see him in court recently, you can see, as you mentioned in your introduction, his thunderous voice is still there. The way he speaks with authority, with emphasis, and his mental sharpness is still there. Having said all this, let's not discount the impact of this unlawful detention on him. He's still a human being, with emotion, with everything. For the fact that he's still strong does not mean, we should discount the negative impact that this is having on his physical, psychological, and mental well-being, and in his health generally. You understand what I'm saying? You see, this is why it really pains my heart that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has spent 3 Christmas in the DSS dungeon, and the 4th one is coming. Sometimes when I think of it, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu going to spend the 4th Christmas in DSS dungeon away from his family? And that is why at this point, let me take this opportunity to plead with British government. Nnamdi Kanu is your citizen. You need to bring him home to his family before Christmas. Let not this innocent man spend the next Christmas without his family, without his lovely wife, without his lovely children. And that is the only thing I can say. Let not allow him spend the 4th Christmas in DSS solitary confinement. Let's bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu home. That's what I will say at this point, Mazi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ekekwe. Let's bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu home for Christmas. Christmas is around the corner. Children are expecting Santa to give them their Christmas presents and gifts. And the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's son, Nnamdi has asked for only one thing as Christmas present: the the return and reunion of his dad with his family, his mom, and his siblings. That's what we do. Let me ask you, Dr. Johnny, can't Onyendu be released on medical grounds? We know this has been a long-drawn legal battle, and everybody has come to admit, or at least accept, that legal solution to this matter seems far-fetched. And then we were reverted to political solution. Aside legal and political solutions, can't there be a medical solution? And I want to outline this question to another question. When will the health of an illegally detained person considered an emergency? And why can't the person be released if their health is critical, requiring an emergency? Maybe the tech will come to you, but let me start with Johnny. Looking at it overall, couldn't Onyendu be released on medical grounds, on health grounds?
Okay, yeah, of course. This has been is also in the Nigerian law, which they are violating, and they are politicians and if anybody. That's why we are saying that these people are intentionally violating his human rights, and which I know that all the people that involved in this should know that they are going to pay for it. They are going to pay for it because they are violating his human rights, and the lawyers that are taking all the case have already filed for that, and they have been hammering on his health issue. So since other politicians and even other individuals being benefited from that law that grants anyone that have a health issue a medical bill to go to abroad or around in the country to treat himself, a bill for that. There is a section for that in their law, which themselves they are violating. So they should be able to do that. And all the people that are involved in this, but the government, when the times come, they need to know that they're going to answer for that. All the people that are violating the law, all their judges and all the government officials, when the time will come for this. So now they are in power, they should not think they are going to be there forever, because they are violating his human rights. And when the time comes, they are going to pay for it. So we are all calling upon them, reminding them, and calling them to obey their law. This is not a Biafran law or anybody imposing the law to them. This is universal law, and even also their law they are violating. So there is a space for that.
So it is very obvious that yes, it is very obvious that they are deliberately playing down the medical or health conditions of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But okay, let me bring that question back to you. What would be considered a medical emergency for an illegally detained person, and on what grounds? I mean, we are not lawyers or medical lawyers in here, but from your experience and generally speaking, when will it be taken seriously that this person's health is critical and therefore they should be released from detention, at least on medical grounds?
Yes. Yes, thank you again. See, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu condition has ticked all the boxes that need to be ticked for it to be regarded as an emergency that warrants him to be released is even as of yesterday. The reason why I'm saying so is that if you look at it, I'm going back to what happened in Kenya. He went to the hospital, he did some tests there. That result of that test is in public domain. They said he has a ECG that said his heart is expanded. It on its own shows that he has a heart condition. The heart condition can never be managed successfully in a DSS dungeon. That is an emergency. That is itself an emergency that needs to be treated. And if you can recall also, there was a time, we were told that because some certain kind of medication it was given, we were having side effect from it. And it took the visit of the beloved wife to even detect that, and for that anomaly to be corrected. And that side effect, as we know at that time, was due to low potassium. Low potassium in a human being is an emergency because your heart can stop at any time if your potassium is low. So that is in itself an emergency. These are not make-up stories. These are things that are in public domain already. You understand? And of course, I did mention that he sustained some injury during his torture in Kenya, which caused what they call tinnitus. The treatment he was given there is like a makeshift treatment, just to I don't know how to temporal treatment, because he requires surgery to take care of that on a permanent basis. We all recall there was a time they said they want to, put him to sleep in the DSS facility to do the surgery, even without getting consent from him. It's very laughable that you want to operate an adult that have mental capacity without even informing his next of kin, which was the wife. And we didn't even inform the patient ahead of time. We just dragged him to the health facility. Yeah, we're going to put you to sleep. I'm going to do the surgery. Where does that happen? I don't just understand, how things work. And luckily,
only in the zoo.
Luckily, we know Onyendu. Onyendu is so strong-willed that nobody can cow him, to put him to sleep and do a surgery that was not scheduled, that was not properly, scheduled. And what is the kind of medical facility they have there to operate, Onyendu? So those are the kind of things. When you look at it, you will see that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health condition has ticked all the boxes you can ever imagine that will make any right thinking, any responsible government to say, look, enough is enough. We've tortured this man enough. It's time for us to let him go on humanitarian ground, that his health should not deteriorate further. Let's allow him to go. A heart condition is something you attend to on a timely manner. If you don't attend to it on a timely manner, it can only deteriorate. It's not going to get better. The sooner we start attending to it, the better for the patient. And that is why the doctors that have seen him, even both the DSS doctors and also his personal doctor that saw him a few times, they allow him to see him, has recommended, as they should, because in medicine, as a medical doctor, we all take oath that the health of our patient should be our primary concern. Even if I'm working with DSS, if I assess a patient, I will give an honest medical opinion that this patient needs to go to some place to have his health treated. And a doctor has said that to the DSS and the government. This man needs to go abroad for treatment. That is an emergency. He needs to go abroad for treatment. Why are we still holding him in that condition? That is what I don't understand. As a medical practitioner, I can't process it in my head. I don't know why Nigerian government is not able to do the right thing and allow this man to go, because I said he has done nothing. The United Nations has said he has been tortured. His doctors have said his health is deteriorating. So all the boxes have been ticked. So my prayer to both the British government, I'm repeating it, and to Nigerian government is to please, it is time to let this man go on medical ground at least. That is the only humane thing that anybody can do. Even a convicted criminal that is going to be, what they call it now, that is on death row, even if the person is ill, they can't go and execute him that is on death row. You have to still take him to the hospital, give him the best medical facility, make sure he's well to be able to face his sentencing or to face the punishment that is due to him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not been convicted. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a victim of crime. So I don't understand why he's still being held. I can't understand it. It doesn't make any medical sense. It doesn't make any sense in any way you look at it. In any way you try to process it, you arrive at the same position that I don't really understand what is happening here. That is what I can say. I don't really understand what is happening.
Yes, it's very, very difficult to comprehend, but we do also know that it is very obvious that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still being held against all these backdrops we've enumerated, simply because he's a Biafran, simply because he's an Igbo man, simply because he has refused to relinquish his fundamental human right to self-determination and assertion, which is what IPOB epitomizes. And on that note, Nigeria, with our criminal collaborators, and we know who they are, decide that despite his failing health, despite how critical his medical conditions might be, requiring urgent treatment as an emergency, they will still hold him there and begin to experiment or concoct their own so-called treatment, in quote. Johnny, before we come to talk about health facilities in the zoo, whether they're existing at all or not, and also how people, not just Nnamdi Kanu, are treated regarding their health as a matter of priority and urgency or emergency. Is that existing at all in that country? I have some of my families in Abuja who report the National Hospital in Abuja has become a death trap for certain ethnic people, Igbo in particular. In the last few years, somebody has taken time to do a study on this. Most Igbo people admitted to that hospital don't come out alive. Again, could this be another form of genocide, medical genocide I'll call it, going on in the zoo? Could it also be the reason why Onyendu is being held in the dungeon in very deplorable situation and environmental conditions that will definitely adversely affect his health, physical and mental? And still, nobody wants to do the needful, the right thing to get him out of there. Before you come in, let me invite our listeners to join us on this topic, illegal incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, health and medical risk involved. Onyendu is being subjected to a lot of risk factors over this illegal incarceration. He's a prisoner of conscience. He's not a criminal. He's a political prisoner. held illegally for his political views, which is the restoration of Biafra. The numbers to call once again, if you're calling from within the UK, is 074-481-83132. I take that again, 074-481-83132. And if you're calling from outside of the United Kingdom, please put the country code +44. So that will be +44-74-481-83132. We'll be happy to take your views and your own comment. How you see this risk Onyendu is being exposed to health-wise. The longer this incarceration goes on. That is why IPOB worldwide, we are clamoring, we are pushing for Onyendu's release as soon as possible, because we cannot continue to accept this or tolerate it. Mazi, Dr. Johnny, if you come in there, how do you see, I know you probably haven't been yourself, but from reports or your observations, how do you see facilities of medical facilities in the zoo, even in Abuja, which is supposed to be presumably the best in the country? Do you think there's enough professionalism, competence of even the medical personnel? Every year, Nigeria churns out a lot of medical graduates, doctors, nurses, and the rest. And then every year, a good percentage of the people that come out from our tertiary institutions, Japa, or migrate out of the country for greener pasture. Somebody jokingly said that all the proper medical professionals have left the country, that what they are now left within the country are quacks. So how much of a risk is this? A country where even medical laboratory tests could be falsified. How are we sure of any test that Onyendu is being subjected to, or any test conducted on him? How are we sure of the results? The individuals coming to assess him, yes, Dr. Kekwe has said that as medical professionals, they are on oath, but then how professional are people, given the level of corruption in that country? I just want to hear your own views before our listeners begin to call in.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my view in that is something that everyone knows, even both educated and non-educated knows quite well in the zoo, that the medical facility there is below human comprehension. Even the politician, or even the people that at least are way to do find it difficult to undergo some medical serious issues there. Even individuals, sometimes people contributed money for them to fly abroad for some surgery, or some simple surgery issues that can that other countries can do by themselves. This is not a hidden thing. It's not something that one will be like saying that we have a good medical facility here, that why are you guys calling for him to be fly abroad? This is something that they have been doing. Even the politician, when they get a simple headache, they will be fly abroad for a treatment. We all know this. This is not a hidden thing or something like that. So everyone knows it, both the educated and non-educated, even the blind people, even people that cannot see. They understand the quality and the low medical facilities in the zoo, and teach the UN and other world leaders who claims they are fighting for human rights should come in and to speak out for him to be released on the medical ground. Because this, just as the doctor have said before, this is not something that is being fabricated. Maybe they will say, okay, it's a Onyendu doctor that come to give all this thing. Maybe it's a fabricated. Maybe it's one to do that so that he be released. Even their own doctors, their doctors have done that. That he need a medical treatment, and because everybody knows the policy of the health sector in Nigeria, everyone knows it. So it's very risky, and just as I was saying, that all the people, both the DSS and all the people that are violating the law and making it difficult, should understand that at the end of the day, they are going to be answerable to all these laws they are violating. Because it's their law. It's their law they are violating. So, and just as the doctor have said, even a hard criminal, in every place in the world that need the medical attention, it will be released, it will be granted. So I don't really understand why it's difficult for them to do this. Why it's difficult for them to do it, knowing the condition of the health system in Nigeria. So this one,
all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Johnny.
Giving them all the information.
Yeah, thank you. We are now being joined by Dr. Justice Okachi Lois. Doc, you're most welcome. Braving the traffic. It's good to have you. Kindly reintroduce yourself to our listeners, and then I have one or two questions for you before the listeners phone in.
Okay, you can see I'm honored. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Justice Okachi Lois, UK trained medical doctor, more like trauma orthopedics. We're very interested in what's happening to Nnamdi regarding his health issues. Of course, we look after the medical core, IPOB. So I'm not sure where you want me to come in. What have been said so far? I apologize for coming in late. Otherwise,
you're most welcome. Dr. Ekekwe has done justice to explaining to our listeners the medical conditions of Onyendu, his present state of health, insofar as we are allowed to, or what is in the public domain, and then providing more insights by way of explanation and description. And Johnny too has done great to give us the perspective of overview generally what a detained person, particularly an illegally detained person, could be experiencing in terms of their mental health, aside the physical condition, that they go through. So if you may come in from there, how you see an illegally incarcerated person, overall effect of that particular act of deprivation of liberty on their health. Then you dive into what is going on in the zoo, insofar as we know already the state of medical facilities in the zoo. What are the chances that a detainee will receive any quality health care in that country?
Okay, thanks for all that. It's quite a complex issue. But Nnamdi Kanu should be released on health grounds, full stop. And I'll tell you for why. We all know the other Kanu Wankwo, who's a football player. He looks very fit and healthy. He held Nigerian under-17 World Cup title. And of course the golden team of the 1966 Olympic team. He played with a heart defect. And when he was about to be transferred to Arsenal, they did a medical checkup and found that he had a heart valve issue. Why am I saying this? Because Nnamdi Kanu's health condition, within the limit of what we're allowed to report, he does have a heart condition which needs surgical intervention before it gets worse. I'm saying this right here on air so that those who are holding him, who have held him for so many years, do not tell us they're ignorant of this situation. There are footballers who have played football and dropped down dead on the pitch because of a heart condition. And you wonder why, because they've not been assessed. Now, the DSS and all those holding Nnamdi Kanu must understand that the whole world know that he has a heart condition. And Nnamdi Kanu himself, whilst appearing in court, have told the world that the DSS are waiting for his condition to deteriorate so that when they release him, he'll drop down dead. Now, all these ideas colliding, you have to make sure he's released to have the best medical facility to assess where he is now so his health condition does not get worse. So why are they being so stubborn? They can't make human beings and they can't treat somebody who's unwell. Well, let him go to have a treatment which he needs. Kanu Nwankwo, who is a famous footballer, had to have his surgery in America. That was in February 1999. Okay, he was playing for Milan. Arsenal wanted to buy him after they won the gold medal. He was such a good player. But when they did a routine medical investigation, they found he has an aortic valve issue. And that needed surgery. And it was done in America. It was not done in America. It was not done in Nigeria. He's one of the best Nigerian footballers of his generation. Why didn't they do the operation in Nigeria? It was done in America. So I'm highlighting all this so that they will understand that Nnamdi Kanu wasn't a routine find. He has been discovered already. He has cardiac issues. And I worked as a in the cardiac surgical unit at Harefield when I was training with Professor Yakub. And I know the need to repair heart valves if they're defective. You don't want it to get worse. So I'm saying this so that those holding him will understand the significance and importance of it. He may look well, outwardly strong, but if you assess him and you find he has a cardiac issue and you're sitting on him, a British citizen, and a condition deteriorates or demises, you are held responsible because you deliberately ignored medical input. We're saying it here on air. So those who are holding him will be held responsible for neglecting his health condition. We know by his tinnitus, is ringing his ear, so he's not sleeping. If you have a blood pressure problem and you're not sleeping, it's going to make your blood pressure issue worse. Okay? There are so many health issues that collide. Plus, of course, he's being solitarily confined in where he is. If you're not exercising, most of you understood what happened during COVID days, you feel weaker. And if he's locked up in solitary confinement where he's moving around, exercising, he's going to be deteriorating health-wise. He has a family. He has a wife. Yeah. He has all these to consider, as well as being the leader of a movement which is worldwide, where his people throughout the world have been suppressed, and more particularly in Nigeria, who haven't survived a war. Okay, so I don't know what else the Nigerian authorities are waiting for. You need to release him on health ground alone. Never mind your court shenanigans. On health ground alone, this man should not stay another day in your health, in DSL, because first of all, you haven't got the facility medically to help him. There's no hospital where you can look after him in. Your elite people go abroad to be treated, medical tourism. So why are you holding him? You can't treat him. So I'm really very upset to have to come and talk about this on air. Yeah, so release him because he needs medical treatment and assessment abroad in the facility that will handle his condition. Not to mention the fact that you you actually made it worse. Whatever his condition was before he was detained and tortured, you have exacerbated it. Now you need to let him go to recover. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okachi Lois. Dr. Ekipo, I'll come back to you. You rightly mentioned that Onyendu had ticked all the boxes for medical emergency, which should trigger release on health grounds, at least for treatment. Dr. Justice Okachi Lois has re-emphasized that and provided more specific justification, if you like, for that. And then we've also looked at it to say, why is he still in that condition? Is it because he's an Igbo man? Is it because he's a Biafran? Let's look at the Zulu in this context. If Nnamdi Kanu were to be someone else from any other of the tribes that own Nigeria, do you think he will still be there, given his medical condition?
Yeah. Good evening, viewers, once more. And I welcome my senior colleague, Justice Okachi, to this discussion. Let me go straight to the question you asked, Chief Nice. Yes, you see, there's everything in the Nigerian government, Nigerian space has definitely deteriorated. Is it inflation, the economy, the food situation, the currency? Everything is going down the drain. The same thing is applicable to the health facilities. When last time I went to Nigeria, I went to the university where I had my first degree, University of Lagos Medical Lut, and I shed tears comparing the facility we had then when I was training and what has become of that institution right now. So that things are definitely going down the drain. So Nigeria does not have the facility, as my colleague has stressed, and as I said earlier on, to manage Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health challenges. Both his pre-existing health challenges and also the one they inflicted on him during his extraordinary rendition. And of course, health is all about physical, mental, and social well-being. Everything has been compromised, and he has ticked all the right boxes for him to be released. Coming specifically to what you asked, that why are they still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? As I said earlier on, as a medical practitioner, I can't process it. But as a Biafran, I'm believing that is because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafran, and that actually strengthened the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is leading, the movement is leading, that is asking for a referendum for us to exit Nigeria. So whatever is happening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is actually re-emphasizing the need for Biafrans to be allowed to exit Nigeria, because he's not being treated like any other people any other person in that country. What has Nnamdi Kanu done that Sunday Igboho did not do? Shuare who is the leader of the Take It Back movement in Nigeria, or Revolution Now, one of them, I can't remember now specifically, was charged for treason. The same thing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Both Shuare and Sunday Igboho are walking free today. Just recently, Igboho went to 10 Downing Street to submit a letter that Oduduwa want to exit Nigeria. So the only conclusion you can get to is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being treated differently because he's a Biafran. And that supports and justifies the cause he's fighting for. But he needs to be released. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Justice, before you joined us, we looked at, aside the deplorable state of facilities in the zoo, the medical personnel themselves. We touched about the high rate of migration of medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and other healthcare workers overseas for greener pasture. Leaving Nigeria, like somebody said, with only native doctors, because all the real or proper doctors have all jabbed abroad. Right now, what level of professionalism, in your experience, will you say that medical practitioners in the zoo can exhibit against the backdrop of corruption, intimidation from politicians, nepotism, as we've touched it, and all the other factors that we know that hold that country down? The test results that they conduct, the assessment they conduct on any detainee, not just Nnamdi Kanu, and test results don't on any of them. How reliable are these?
Well, it's a very important question. People are leaving for various reasons. And it's ironic that when they go abroad, they become among the best doctors in the world. So Nigeria is not lacking highly skilled individuals. It's just that the government, those who are supposed to know better, are not using the quality human beings that I have to say average Nigerians are, against all their difficulties. Put that aside. The issue is not how many people have left the country, it's what is the resultant, what is left behind. I'm not going to denigrate them, because those who are staying behind are trying to do next to impossible job. But there are levels of ability or levels of training to deal with your, if you like, endogenous conditions. But certain conditions require highly skilled team to address. What we're talking about is Nnamdi Kanu's cardiothoracic conditions. And putting the tinnitus aside, that may also need a highly skilled team to address. But when it comes to the cardiac, it's the heart. And there's any issue that needs to be repaired in the heart, that calls for a cardiothoracic center. That's the people that deal with the chest, heart, and lung. Okay, and you need a center of excellence, which I don't know how far Nigeria is to that. And if they do have such facilities, who can access it? Clearly, if they can access it, there will be no need for health tourism. The elite will not be going outside to be treated. But the irony, as I keep saying, is that Nigerians have highly trained individuals abroad who can do these surgeries. Doesn't matter how complicated it is, you can train a Nigerian to do it. But because of upside down thinking, and I don't know how to describe it any further, it's just they're dragging down the potential of the black people and Africans. Nigeria has such potential, but it chooses to drag them down. So whereas in America we have excellent, highly trained medics, and in UK who are of Nigerian origin, and other countries, instead of putting them together to work in the health system, you destroy, undermine the functioning of the health system. I begin by saying, for example, if you send a laboratory test, can you guarantee that what you're getting back is the right, accurate result? If you're doing a surgery on somebody, there's issues of those organ harvesting, which you cannot guarantee. Do they do autopsies when someone dies in Nigeria? Say, what caused that death? Are they at that level where they say this death was done by medical malpractice? And if it is, what can they do? The person have died and just buried. So therefore, there are so many issues whereby someone at the level of Nnamdi Kanu should not be risked a medical facility which you cannot guarantee will do the job or cope with the facility. In UK, you have various stratas of health facility. You start with your general practice. You go into local hospital. You go into a specialist hospital. You go into a super specialist hospital. So there are reasons where you stratify expertise. You congregate them in certain points and they focus on one particular condition, and they get to the top of the world in delivering the health facility. I don't think Nigeria is that way structured. The irony was, way back when University of Nigeria, Ibadan, when you all started, it was next to second to none. People used to come abroad from Arab countries to come and be treated in Ibadan as a teaching hospital. But look what's happened to Nigeria. It's completely deteriorated. So I don't want you to risk Nnamdi's health in the hands of a healthcare facility which is not geared up to deal with that level of complexity of healthcare delivery. So he needs to be flown out to receive this medical care. In UK, in Canada, in USA, wherever they have this, super specialist facilities for cardiothoracic center that are world renowned that will handle this situation. As I said, I mentioned Nnamdi Kanu earlier on. He's a footballer who is fit and healthy, yet routine screening found him to have a heart condition which was corrected in a USA hospital. He carried on playing football. I do not want Nnamdi Kanu to deteriorate so that they can't heal him or cure him or treat him. So we need everybody to speak up and say, release this man now so he can receive the medical conditions, medical facilities that will address his conditions overall. Not mandating the torture, the psychological trauma he's going through and everything else. He needs to be released on medical grounds to receive the best medical facility that will help him in his day-to-day health recovery. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc. Indeed, there are so many risk factors. It is actually very risky to keep anybody in the condition Oyendu has been kept, and given his medical conditions presently, which can only get worse. We've heard from medical experts, they never get better unless they are properly treated in the best facilities and by the best hands. So where Oyendu is at the moment, things can only get worse. It is indeed by the special grace of Chukwuka Abiyama and his mercy that he's still alive. Apparently healthy when we see or hear him speak. But we've also been informed or educated tonight of the looks that makes one healthy. There are so many other things that need to be properly assessed and checked out before you can give somebody a clean bill of health. Johnny, I'll come to you on an important topic. I know that's something you were working on when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was first renditioned and incarcerated, to see whether that is still alive. But let me quickly inform our listeners that our lines are still open. If you're calling from within the United Kingdom, the numbers are 074 481 83132. I take it again, 074 481 83132. You may call direct from the UK on that line or via WhatsApp. But if you're calling from outside of the UK, please dial only WhatsApp, including the country code +44 74 481 83132. We'll be happy to get your own views or ask a question if you have one or two. We still have about maybe another 16 minutes to the end of the program. Our panel of experts in the studio will be more than happy to answer your question if you have any. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to inform our dear listeners, Biafrans, friends of Biafra, lovers of freedom, that IPOB United Kingdom family will be holding our end-of-year ESN fundraising. You must have heard the jingle play on this station at the beginning of the program and in between. You are all cordially invited to support us raise the necessary fund to enable and empower our last line of defense, the Eastern Security Network. They did a yeoman's job last year. A lot of people who traveled to Biafra land last year testified that the Christmas and New Year celebration of last year was largely peaceful and enjoyable. It didn't happen by magic. It's many thanks to ESN and the great work IPOB is doing to nip in the bud local or internal criminality and also push back our enemies, the Janjaweed, that seek to invade our privacy and denigrate our homeland. ESN is so crucial to our existence, to our survival, and the sustainability of the struggle for the actualization of Biafra. So please do join us. Listen to the jingles and the other promotional materials we're releasing. There are many ways you can support, even discreetly. The most important thing is that we receive your support, and Shukokabema will replenish your coffers as you do so. So, Mazi Johnny Dog, let me ask you, I know when you started the forum, Free Nnamdi Kanu, you did have a fantastic idea of raising funds within that forum with the aim of sponsoring some medical experts who will go to carry out proper assessment and give care to Yendu at the DSS dungeon. But we also know that Nigeria would have played the backhand of their politics with it. I just want to ask you, is that dream still alive within the forum, of which I'm a member of the forum? I've not heard much about it on that platform.
Please, there is a call coming in. Just, Dr. John, please hold on. I will, hold on. Let me accept that call.
Our first caller.
Yes, caller, go ahead and speak.
Okay.
Biafra will hear thee.
Caller, please speak up. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and then ask your question.
Yeah, I'm calling from United Kingdom. And I remain Wajago. I want to thank all of you for the human job you are doing for our restoration, which is Biafra. My question is, do we think that some people going to number 10 Downing Street is there for truly for Yoruba freedom, or just for them to continue to consolidate on the grip of power which Tinubu is holding? That is one. And also, is it not very clear to all of us that Tinubu being in France is there using our own God-given resources in Biafra land to buy favor against us politically worldwide? Because this is what I want to ask, and I want to say, keep it up, guys. Nnamdi Kanu must be free. All hail Biafra.
Biafra will hear thee.
Thank you, Machineke. I don't know who wants to answer that question in a nutshell, but let me advise our listeners to please limit their questions to the topic of the week, which is the illegal incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the health or medical risk. That's what we are looking at today. But the good question nevertheless. Doc, I don't know who wants to answer that question before Johnny answered the question I was raising before. I hand over.
Maybe I should just make a comment because I think that question came from one of the statements I made when I said that I'm comparing Sunday Igboho's situation with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's situation in the sense that Sunday Igboho is asking for Duduwa nation, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is asking for Biafra nation. Sunday Igboho has been left to, have been freed, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still being held. Anyway, whether Sunday Igboho send a letter to 10 Downing Street, whether it's going to be effective in getting Oduduwa or whether it's a political move, I really don't want to delve into that because I'm not sure his true intention or whether he's a true freedom fighter. I will not comment on that. I only made that analogy in the sense that at the face value, Sunday Igboho is looking for Oduduwa nation. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu looking for Biafran nation. Both of them are looking for the same thing. So why is one free and the other one still in incarceration despite his failing health, despite United Nations group on torture said release him, you've tortured him, despite the Nigerian courts saying that he has been wronged, he has been extraordinary renditioned, release him based on that. So despite all these things, he's still being held. So in summary, what I was trying to make analogy is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can only be held because he's a Biafran. And that actually supports what he's asking for, that my people are being marginalized. Therefore, give us opportunity to conduct a referendum and let us go. Scotland was given opportunity to conduct a referendum in the UK and they voted to remain in the UK. Britain was given opportunity in the EU to vote to stay or to exit the EU. They voted to exit the EU. So I don't see the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is being held for asking for the same thing. Let's Biafra vote to remain in Nigeria or to exit in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. So he has not committed any crime known to man. So he should be left to go home. If not based on the fact that the court has said let him go, at least on humanitarian and medical ground, let him go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Kashi, do you want to add anything to that question from Nazuma?
I think Dr. Kweke has already answered it well. Yoruba Nation, I'm not sure if they're asking for referendum, they just want to pull out. I don't know the content of the letter, which he submitted at 10 Downing Street, so it's really difficult to comment.
Yeah, I think that's a matter for another day, actually.
That point of view. So that's really all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Johnny, I'm coming back to the question I asked about your original project. Is that still something that your group or the forum is thinking? And how can forums like yours, Nnamdi Kanu, and other platforms that are populated by Biafrans who have goodwill, well-meaning Biafrans, I must say, actually match our words with positive action?
Yeah, we can hear you.
The network was interrupted.
Yeah, you're coming out loud and clear.
Yes. Can you repeat the question, please? I didn't get it.
Okay. I asked about your forum or group, the Free Nnamdi Kanu. I'm aware that you had this project or idea of using the platform to raise support for some medical expatriates to be flown to Nigeria. It was a laudable idea then to see how they can help Oyendu health-wise. I know also that would have also faced a lot of challenges from the zoo because we know what they're like. So I'm asking if that idea or project is still alive? And in addition, how can forums, platforms, groups like yours actually support the movement by matching our words? You know, there's a lot of words on our platforms that I've seen myself in, but no action.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me just make some correction on that. The forum on WhatsApp was not actually me that created it, but I was added. I was the initial people that was added. My forum is actually on Facebook, and I am doing other things individually to promote the release of our leader, and other ones we are doing in group. So I just want to put that one straight to make it a little bit correction on that.
Okay.
In generally, that everyone have to put hand to make sure our leader is released. Everybody. Because what our leader is going through, the sacrifice he's giving is for everybody. It's just not for him. Because if it's for him, he have everything. He have everything to, just to give up or just to relax, enjoy his life and enjoy his father's way. But he sacrificed. And we all have to know, we have to put all this into consideration that this thing that is facing can happen to anybody. Even the so-called president of Nigeria at the moment can face it. Anybody in this world can face it. So we need to put hands together. That's why some other people that instead of them to make sure that our leader is released or try to put hands together, and they are trying to, I don't know, I don't want to go deeply onto that. They are trying to, to be front, to show them, to opposing themselves and making things that are not important. Just like in the Bible, when Moses went to the mountain to bring the Ten Commandments, before he came back, the people they have made a new leader for themselves, who they force to create them a false god. And that's what this other group they are doing now. They created a leader who does not know anything about Biafra movement. This leader, we know when he started. We know who she is. We know who he is. We know when he was against us. That I know when he's when he's speaking against Biafra. We know what this is. So I think what everybody have to do now is, what can we do? Our leader is still alive. What can we do to bring him out from there? Instead of people to put hands together, put all their effort together to speak out for our leader to be released. And they are doing something else.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
So this what they are doing now is exactly, there is nothing that happened in this world that have not happened before. It's what exactly the Israelites did in the desert that made God to almost destroy them. And I know that most of the people that are following these people are low people that just joined Biafra youth. They don't even know the vision, what the vision is all about, what Biafra is all about, why are we fighting for Biafra? Most of them.
Mazi, thank you. That's a very valid point. Unity of purpose. To get Onyendu out, we need the unity of purpose. And on this program tonight,
he's the one that holds the key. He's the one that holds the key. He's the one to guide everybody. He's still alive. He's not dead. He's still alive. And they are doing all these things, thinking they are helping the matter. But at the end of the day, he's going to come out. And when he's come out, we will honor who is doing the right thing and who is doing the wrong thing. But what I'm encouraging everyone now to do is, let us put hands together to bring our leader out from there. Because these people, they think that we are not serious to bring our leader out. That's why they are holding him. If all this effort, this money, they are wasting all this money they are making, they will unite together. Put all your differences together. Just for example, when someone was asking last time, I'm a follower of Nnamdi Kanu or follower of the other guy. I told him I'm a supporter of Biafra, not a follower of a person. I'm a supporter of Biafra. When you love Biafra, you will do everything to protect and to support everyone that's supporting Biafra. But when you follow a person, you start looking what this person is doing. That's not the vision. The vision is to restore Biafra. And when your vision is to restore Biafra, you will support every genuine person who is speaking for Biafra. So this is something that everyone have to put hand together. I think so many people are hypocrites. When they see that the thing is moving and the word is what they only do is still on the is not speaking. That's when you hear the voice. But now it seems like he's being detained. They seem like disappear. But this thing have happened before. We all know it. But at the end of the day, we know that all glory is going to be to God, and our leader is going to be alive. And all these people that are doing this, and I'm pleading to them is just be partake of this blessing, because it's a blessing to be part of this great movement. It's a blessing. It's a privilege.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matt. Because time is actually we are coming close to the end of the program. The most important thing is us having that unity of purpose to make a strong case for Oyendu's release on health ground. I was saying a couple of weeks ago on this program, we discussed and dissected unity of purpose among the people to bring Oyendu out. But you see, there is a school of thought that, the only way out is political solution, whatever that actually means. We defined it on this program, and then others are chasing the legal route. But we tonight are saying on this platform that perhaps the easiest way to get Oyendu out is on medical ground. And that is where we also need to be united in pushing for him to come out. The rest of the things that happens when Oyendu is out is what comes under the umbrella of IPOB, because there is only one IPOB, and the mantra for restoration of Biafra rests with that same one IPOB under the leadership of Oyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. On Radio Biafra, on this hallowed platform, we do not discuss any other person or group of persons and their mission as far as Biafra restoration is concerned, because we have seen different colorations in the past, and we are strong in our conviction that the route to restoration of Biafra, the roadmap, lies with IPOB, one family, under the leadership of Oyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate it. And listeners, I think we will not be able to take more calls unless, Mazi, I don't know whether there's any other call.
No.
If there's no other call coming through, we'll be wrapping it up now. So I start with Dr. Kachi. What will be your passing shot? I particularly like the point you made about us focusing on pushing a case for you to release on health ground. But there's more than enough justification for that. So let's keep aside the legalities and all the political solution. All the Igbo prominent Biafrans and Igbo people coming out to fight for Oyendu, apart from Mbazulika Amechi of blessed memory, who went to Aso Rock to plead for Onyendu on health ground. The rest, I've not really had them be specific on what they're asking for.
Yes, thank you. I think you hit the hammer on the head. There's a strong case for release on medical grounds. It was like a face-saving, ploy, which the DSS, the government, anyone who's holding him can use. So we're releasing him because of his health conditions. We don't want it to deteriorate in our hands or under our keep, under our watch. They can say that. So that's what, for starters. It's really that important, because when it comes to health, your condition doesn't spring back to normal if they have certain underlying conditions. Your blood pressure doesn't get cured. Your sodium, potassium levels will fluctuate, but you need a medical lab that will give a good, accurate account of what's happening. The tinnitus doesn't change by itself. Your heart conditions cannot self-regulate unless you address it and keep an eye on it. Even just to monitor it is that important. I mentioned Kanu Nwankwo, who is a footballer, and there are issues of footballers dropping on the field because no one have diagnosed the underlying condition. But here, it's not hidden. It has been looked into that there are health issues. We don't want him to deteriorate any further. And the problem with health, there's a limit to how much you can allow it to get worse. The body is quite a remarkable machine. It will self-correct up to a point until the whole thing goes down. So you need to release him so that he can get the appropriate health care that he needs. He is a British citizen, whether the Nigerian authority like it or not, and the British government need to step up and say one of their citizens being held in Nigerian high security prison, and they're fudging. What I mean by fudging, they're pretending his health is good when it isn't. That is so dangerous. So they need to take heed of available information to release him on health grounds so he can seek the appropriate medical care. Now, having said that, there is a campaign on .org which we're trying to get Nnamdi Kanu released by making the government of the UK aware that there's a petition going on, and if you are genuinely keen to get Nnamdi Kanu out, do sign this petition. I don't know if you have already signed. Find some more people who will sign it. Uchechi, the wife, Lord Uchechi, has set up this change.org, which is a petition. I think I need to appeal to every Biafran to sign it. Friends of Biafra, lovers of freedom, join in, sign it, so that we can get the traction that we need. If necessary, British government and get it to debate it on the House of Parliament. So we really need this done and need it done like yesterday. Please sign it so we can see if we can get them home before Christmas. So I urge you all, if you're an IPOB member, there's really no excuse. You should have signed it by now. Start looking for other people who can sign it. If you're not an IPOB member, you're allowed to sign it. What does that actually require? You just put your name and your email address, and that's it. It doesn't matter where you live on this planet, sign it. Not just for UK citizens. Anybody can sign it. So I need to see the numbers go up. When it was launched, we got about 6,800 so far. I need it to go up. So please, I'm urging everyone who wants Nnamdi to come out, sign that petition. Don't say you haven't heard of it. Now you have. Okay, sign it.
Thank you very much, Doc. We appreciate the petition hard. You've all had it. Please, Biafrans, friends of Biafra, lovers of freedom, This petition is still ongoing. We haven't reached the threshold yet. It's important that we do it so that we can push the government to listen to it and hopefully take positive action. Dr. Ekekwe, we have less than 60 seconds. What will be your passing shot?
Yeah, my passing shot is to both Nigerian government and British government, if not for legal reason, for political reason, but on medical ground, which is humanitarian ground. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu right to health is a fundamental human right. They denied him his human right by kidnapping him. They can restore it now by using health grant to release him. And they can release him before Christmas, so that he wouldn't be spending the 4th Christmas away from his family, from his lovely family in the UK. So I'm urging Nigeria government and British government to please let Mazi Nnamdi come home and spend Christmas with his family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's too risky to keep him there, even a night or a day longer. Let's do all we can within our abilities and capabilities to get him out of the DSS dungeon. Dear listeners, that is it on the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra this week. Don't forget to join us next Sunday. On behalf of the production crew, the UK Media IT team, Mazi Lozier of Radio Biafra, and all those who contributed in making today's episode the success that it has been. I'd like to thank the panelists, Dr. Justice Okachi Lois, Dr. Nyeke Ekekwe, and Dr. Jody Chibike, who joined us all the way from the Philippines for their wonderful contributions. Until we come your way again next Sunday, from me, from here, is a very good night. God bless.